This is Colin O'Keefe for LXBN TV. On today's episode, we are discussing legal marijuana businesses, where things stand now for those in Washington state, and the biggest issues that these businesses should be aware of. Joining me now to discuss each of these topics is attorney Hilary Bricken of Moure's Canna Law Group and author on the Canna Law blog. Hilary, let's start first with where you and I both are, and that is in Washington state. Where do things stand now with the rulemaking around Washington's Initiative 502, and when will we actually start seeing legal marijuana businesses?
Currently, right now, we're in a relatively good place. Most of the rulemaking has been complete. As of now, the Liquor Control Board is going back to the regulatory rulemaking, and they're filling in the gaps. They're tweaking it to ensure that all the details are covered. But right now, they're in a good spot. They're licensing producers and processors very shortly here in April from the 21st to the 25th. They're going to run the coveted retail lottery, and we finally will know those folks that are going to be these very, very gilded retailers, as there's only going to be 334 of them. So things are moving along quite swimmingly.
I see. It's going to be very interesting to watch, especially once that lottery does come down. So once these businesses do have these licenses and we actually start seeing legal marijuana retailers, what are the biggest issues that these businesses need to be aware of?
I kind of have a classic top three that tend to transcend state border, but they are particularly important in Colorado and Washington with these very robust regulatory regimes. Number one is federal taxation. What these businesses need to realize is that on the federal level, they will be taxed as illegal businesses, which means that they're not going to get traditional business write-offs. They do get cost of goods sold, but any good entrepreneur, if they're soliciting investment, they want to roll with state compliance, they have to understand that the federal taxation has not changed and that they too will have to surmount these hurdles of a very, very unfair tax situation. Number two is the issue with the banking. And at this point, I think many lawyers, industry participants understand, very similar to the federal government, banks too will not do business in this industry because of the current federal prohibitions. The sands of change are moving, which is very positive, but there's no slam dunk in the law yet that creates an exception that will allow banks to openly do business in this industry, although on a case-by-case basis, banks are beginning to participate, which is ultimately positive. The last one, the last main issue, is really competition with the black market. And this isn't really a legal issue, this is more of a business economic issue. Entrepreneurs are going to have to be patient. If these programs are to succeed, they need to understand that there is going to have to take place some social conditioning where people want to pay for these very safe, regulated experiences, and that they're going to be up against the black market while having to deal with taxes and regulation. And that's going to take time to develop and implement. And ultimately, it will succeed, but people need to be patient in the interim and realize that that's what they're competing against.
Absolutely. That's one of the things that I'm most interested to see, and that's really the relationship between this black market and the highly regulated industry, because they're both working with what really is an extremely unique commodity. Once again, that was Hilary Bricken of the Canna Law Group and Moure, of course. For more of her insight, be sure to check it out. It's at cannalawblog.com. Just join the LXBlog network, and we're very excited about it. Thanks for joining me today, Hilary.
Thanks, Colin.